Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today. We are breaking down the good, the bad, everything we saw during Fallout 76's Bethesda E3 showcase reveal. Some pros, some cons, and a lot of questions. I'm joined by two of my best friends.
Vinny.
Connor.
It's going to be a good time, so get ready. Let's start off with Fallout 76 being a fully online Fallout game. I'm personally not against the idea of this game being cooperative, but that brings up the question, the story, the questing, what the fuck's going on? Vinny, why don't you tell me?
I think the main thing we're concerned with here is Fallout becoming like a looter shooter, right? You know, we've seen games like Destiny that are completely focused on getting gear, just killing shit. Like, is that what Fallout 76 is going to become? Like, we want the story.
Yeah.
You know, are we going to get that?
Connor?
True, especially because, you know, you don't see if the protagonist has a voice. You don't see if you're going to actually be the character that they want you to be when it comes to the RPG style that they're used to. Mm-hmm. You're seeing an open world multiplayer game where you don't know if you're going to have a voice, and that's questioning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against that because Fallout 4's biggest issue amongst many things I'd say was the addition of a voice protagonist. It stripped away those role-playing elements in many ways because you had to put a voice in for every quest line. You couldn't just open up the possibilities and then have the people talk to you. You always had to talk back to them.
Sure.
So that really limited things in the terms of resources, even though they recorded a ton of lines for Fallout 4. But also the story. I mean, we didn't see any story details in this at all.
And like we see this, and like, you know, how much of the issues of Fallout 4 are going to be compounded in this game, right? Mm-hmm. Like we saw an issue of quantity versus quality, and now we know the game world is 4 times bigger. Like, how much is that going to be expanded on? We got a fully multiplayer game. Yeah. You know, they're saying, oh, everybody in the game are the NPCs, right?
Yeah. Like,
who are we interacting with? Who are we getting our quests from? Where's the story?
Yeah, exactly. So, for those who don't know, Fallout 76, like Vin just said, there aren't NPCs. All the people in the world are actually players. So, someone who's selling you stuff, for example, is going to be another player. I personally thought that might open up some cool possibilities of, I guess you could maybe say role-playing. Maybe you'll buy items at a lower price, and you can sell items and earn more caps from them. I wonder personally, if I was a player who set up a shop and then another player came by, would I benefit from being more of a pacifist? And that, like I said, can include a couple of role-playing elements in there. But there can be some negatives to that aspect.
Well, I think we're just kind of wondering how realistic that's going to be, or someone's just going to like sit down and set up shop, like, hey, I'm a merchant.
Yeah.
Like, come to me. Right? It's
yeah.
Just like,
it's like, you know, do you benefit more from just capping the merchant and
taking his goods?
Yeah,
so,
probably.
Or what?
Yeah, right.
More fun too, right?
Yeah, at least in a video game.
Well, also, since we're talking about merchant, what are we going to see when it comes to customization in the game? Am I going to be able to customize more than just my appearance? Am I going to be able to customize, maybe I get a different scope from a certain merchant that can maybe enhance my gameplay ability to become maybe resources. A sniper or something when it comes to my multiplayer experience?
Okay, that's a good idea. I mean, because
yeah.
a big focus on the game is about resource collection in its own way. We saw that the players went out, collected keys for a nuclear code, and then you could blow up any place on the map. Like, they took Lonesome Road's ending and brought it to a whole new level, and they're like, yeah, just destroy anything you want.
Yeah.
Which brings into question, though, the value of these locations. Is there any storytelling 100%. Going on in those locations?
It kind of tells you no, right?
Yeah, right.
If you could just blow up the Greenbrier, which everyone kind of assumed was going to be a big storyline element of the game, you know, it maybe shows that it's not.
Yeah.
Right?
And especially when we're being told the only real story element I think we dragged from this showcase was the Overseer, the Vault, telling us what to do.
Preston Garvey point 2.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I was actually kind of afraid, thinking, so is the Overseer going to say, go to the West Virginia Capitol building, clear out all the mutants there, and then establish 5 gardens so that life can continue there? It's like, okay, I'll go do that. Now what? Is that...
You get a laser rifle and 500 XP.
Is that my only source of story? Is that my only the thing that to drive me to play the game?
Especially when the point in the timeline this takes place, we're not going to see the Brotherhood of Steel. We're not going to see those factions like that we know and love in the Fallout franchise. There's a chance maybe we see the Enclave, where speculation has led us to Greenbrier, like we were just saying, but you can blow it up. Now, some people on the other side of the coin may view this as a pro. There's choice and consequence. You can blow up a place that's incredibly valuable to the main story, which I think could be cool. It's a matter of, is there a main story even there?
Exactly. If there is a main story there, then it would be cool.
Yeah.
But if it's just like an empty landmark, then who cares, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you were talking about when it came to, you know, if you can nuke a place, is it still going to be there? How is it going to affect it, like the consequences when it comes to it? What is it going to be like when they said they have dedicated servers, but only like a couple dozen people, and they say it's a map bigger than 4 times bigger than Fallout 4.
Yeah,
you know, how is that going to affect where people are? And if I blow up this one section, it doesn't really matter because no one's going to go to it. You know, like what am I going to see from a multiplayer experience that's supposed to be, you know,
it could also be a shallow experience. They say that the people in the world are the players. So if there's only 24 players in a world 4 times the size of Fallout 4, how often are you encountering anyone?
Yeah, sure.
Imagine Fallout 4 having 24 NPCs.
Right?
Yeah, I don't think you can.
Fallout 4 alone, yeah. And then you go to a game 4 times that size. It's like, well, fuck. Like, you know,
what am I interacting with?
We need to see a little more. We need to see a little more to
That's the thing.
go into this.
And you wonder, despite how exciting this conference was in many ways, tons of announcements, the surprises of Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 happening, fucking awesome. But you wonder if because those were added on, did that take away from some of what we know with 76, or maybe they're waiting for the beta to show us more, which, yes, if you didn't know, Fallout 76 is going to have a beta. Saying a Fallout game is going to have a beta, what the hell?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
What am I going to get from a public beta, though? You know what I mean? Like, what do you expect from a public beta? Because I would go on a private beta, you know, to see how it's going to react when it comes to 12, 24 people.
Yeah, just to test the mechanics and
Just
interactions,
to test how
not
it's going
just
to be.
stress test the servers.
Yeah,
is what you're
exactly.
saying.
Like 100 million people play the game. Like, what are you going to see from a public beta?
Yeah.
You're going to see server problems. Okay, let's see how we can fix our servers to handle the amount of people that are going to be playing it. Well, I want to see how the game is. I want to see how, you know, like Todd said, break the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Literally.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
I like the openness of them making fun of themselves a lot.
Yeah.
No,
the
100%.
bugs, the Skyrim. I like it.
Just doesn't work joke.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, that was
that they're
like fuck.
people, you know
Thomas
what I mean?
Yeah, it really was. But with this talk of servers, multiplayer, co-op, it brings about some key Fallout elements that could be subtracted from the experience, like VATS. How will VATS work? Does time not slow down? Because originally time stopped, then it slowed down in 4. Now we have a fully online game. They're not going to slow down or stop time. That's not possible in an online game unless it's like Max Payne 3, where it's almost like cone vision slow-mo and everything else runs around faster. I think you said time shift.
Time shift, yeah, on the Xbox 360. You can completely stop the game.
Exactly. So maybe there is something like that, but I'm going to assume that maybe you can just target a body part in real time, if it's even in the game.
They didn't show it,
Yeah.
and typically they will show it, so it's kind of...
And we saw some intense fights, like 4 players going against a ton of ghouls, but the player that we were seeing the gameplay of didn't shoot or do VATS at all.
It's such a core element of the Fallout gameplay too. It's like, why cut it out?
Yeah.
It's like if you're taking that away from it, you know, what kind of RPG experience am I going to get from this multiplayer game?
And I feel like VATS makes Fallout Fallout. It makes the gunplay unique and
It does. Yeah, or else it's just a first-person shooter after that.
Yeah.
And now they're adding a lot of loot. You know, we were talking about the nuke stuff and how they turns an area that's not precious into something more precious because then there's more valuable resources there. I still don't get how that works, that when you fully destroy a place, a big monster shows up and you can get valuable stuff from them. You know, do they pick up a Gatling laser and go like, all right, man, here you go, try to kill me. But I got something good for you.
It's probably going to give you more supplies for like crafting and those crafting elements.
Yeah.
I think that it's going to give you, you know,
but why?
Especially what they said. Yeah, exactly. Why am I going to get this?
Yeah, why am I going
to need
I
this
just
for?
completely decimated an area. Why am I getting sick crafting materials now?
Yeah, true.
Why does this make sense?
True, because everything gets just obliterated.
And let's say someone joins your game. Can they just come in, get the codes with another team of players, and nuke your shit?
True.
Right.
It's possible, yeah.
It's like, what the hell happened?
Did they say anything about how many times you can do it in one game, or?
They did not. That's a very good point. They did not. I don't know if you can just destroy one place.
Or if you can just keep getting different codes in different sections of the map and just keep blowing things up.
We also didn't find out how we're getting the codes. Is there side quests? Like, are we going to specific areas and one person has the code and then we're in a group?
Yeah, how do you know where to go to get the codes?
They killed Reavers, like feral ghoul Reavers, and one dropped a piece of the code. That's like the most unlikely source of a nuclear...
Yeah, that's I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's awful.
It's like...
It's concerning.
I don't get it. And we're talking about like a ghoul holding onto a nuclear key lore. You know, that's another thing that we worry about. There are some cool things, though. We see, for example, the locales, the mutants. Yes. I mean, that could be fucking awesome from what we've seen.
The mutants look sick.
The West Virginia mutant lore, in particular, they focused on that a little bit. That looks sick. We saw the gigantic bat attacking the civilization, everybody teaming up against it. That looked really cool.
I was about that.
The speculations about Mothman.
Oh, I think it's less than speculation.
Yeah, it's definitely. It's coming to fruition.
So,
and so stuff like that, I mean, West Virginia, I didn't know how primed it was for a Fallout game until you really start doing your research on it, and you're like, this is perfect.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Pretty sure them targeting West Virginia too is kind of like a, oh wait, West Virginia's still here, like that kind of thing. You know,
right.
It
It's like it brings it to relevancy. It's like, yeah, fuck, I want to go there now.
Exactly.
So, that's definitely a good point.
I think another concern that we might have is just like, if this game is going to be completely focused on like the shooting aspect, you know, just run and gun, like if they're bringing in the same Fallout engine from Fallout 4, like what's really incentivizing us to play this game if it's not the story, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's the same gameplay, maybe with even now VATS, you know?
Yeah, and you wonder, we see a lot of similar elements coming in from Fallout 4, the shooting, there's crafting, there's all that stuff,
Yeah.
but you
It's
know,
cool how you can craft together too.
exactly, yeah, I did like that, but it's strange, you take some of those core mechanics from Fallout 4, and it's almost like they've dropped dialogue. Like I thought I'd see a pretty, you know, because they were addressing a lot of the feedback. You know, we were just talking about what Todd was saying about all the jokes online, but you'd think out of all of them, he said it before, the dialogue in Fallout 4 was a pretty big issue that they felt they didn't get right, so they drop it all together.
I was honestly expecting, like, right when he walks out of the vault, him to like talk to Cogsworth, and like he was gonna talk and he wasn't gonna respond with the voice, and everyone was just gonna go freak out because everyone was so excited.
Dude,
and
that's the thing.
walks right past
that was a telling sign when that Mr. Handy talked to him and he didn't, no HUD popped up. He didn't stop and look at him.
Just walked right back.
Just walked
Is there
right by.
dialogue? Is there, you know what I
gotta
mean?
be like
I can't imagine a Fallout game without it.
I mean,
I wonder if we're
we
just
saw
making
emotes,
but we just saw like,
emotes,
yeah,
which is some form. But then, am I going to get something more than that? Am
That's
I going to be able to?
destiny
Yeah. That's scary.
It's scary. Yeah, it worries me.
That's our main issue, I think. Like, we just don't know. We just need more.
It's like, are we gonna get? Here's another idea. Are we gonna get our raw storytelling from just cutscenes?
I hope not.
That's what I'm saying. I can't imagine a Fallout game like that.
I
But
just can't
we
picture
couldn't
them doing
imagine a Fallout game online prior to this.
True.
That's true. That's
True.
a good point.
So
I can't picture them cutting out dialogue completely. It's just, that's so far gone.
yeah, right.
Like, I can't imagine.
Yeah, I think maybe we're getting a little carried away, fully cutting it out. But I think it's gonna be like pretty
Very
scarce.
slimmed down. Yeah, I think it's
Especially if it's every interaction is player to player. What can you really say? It's probably going to be through text chat or voice chat.
I'm just disappointed, you know, they had like, what, 30 minutes to just show us Fallout, and we just still have so many questions. There's so many unanswered questions, you know.
It could be an exciting potential, but with video games, I feel like when you walk away with more questions than answers, it's likely because
They're hiding things.
Yeah, it's like, do they want to hide things? I try not to look at them in that light, but it's like you gotta wonder. I feel like that's kind of the case because they usually take this opportunity to put the big features forward because they're selling to people. Like the most people who are going to see the game is right here, right now. So they got to put it all out on the table, and they didn't show like any story.
Just to give them the benefit of the doubt, like maybe they don't want to focus on the previous elements of Fallout just because we just assume they're there. They want to focus on the new elements like nuking the world and all that. So I think that's a possibility, but I think they'd at least show it a little bit, right?
It's good to see what's going to come up when the beta, you know, whenever they show us the beta. It comes out in November, so you know, hopefully we get our questions answered.
Yeah, how about that November release date? That's not surprising, I'd say.
No.
We know it's coming. We had a feeling it was coming out this year.
I'm excited.
Focus.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the table, especially when it comes to this new aspect of their company.
I feel like we're coming across pretty negative, but I think it's just because we're so excited for this game. We just want it to be great.
I think people should know that by now, that we're not trying to be negative, and more than anything, we're asking important questions.
Exactly.
Questions that you need to be answered.
Yeah, that I think we all want to be answered. And the reason we're asking them and trying to address them more than anything is because I feel like with the excitement of Starfield and Elder Scrolls in the same like 5-minute span, it might be very easy to lose the focus of what the fuck just happened before that.
Yeah,
right?
Can we just talk about how insane that was? Like we just got off the hype of Starfield, and he's like, wait, we got one more game I want to show you.
We're
Elder
focusing
Scrolls,
on the game
what?
even further. It's
God, Howard.
It's wild.
What a
bro.
guy.
I expected like maybe a surprise announcement, but for them to go all out like that was the roadmap to the next 6 years probably.
Yep.
And that's insane to me. But that reminds me, speaking of announcements and stuff, you see Todd on stage, he's saying, yeah man, I mean, we got the special anniversary of a Fallout game this year. I'm like, oh man,
I think we all were.
I love that game that
we
you're
all
talking about,
expected
baby.
that.
He's like, yep, it's the 3-year anniversary of Fallout Shelter. No Fallout anniversary, no Fallout 3 remaster, nothing like that. I wouldn't say that was disappointing. That was fan speculation, that was fan hype. It was fan created, there was no teases of it. you were hoping for it, but when he started talking about an anniversary, bro, you were like, this is it.
You're dialed in.
Yeah, I like leaned forward and everything.
I saw you. You were just like,
I'm
engaged.
just a really big tease for us.
It was.
It's just
Maybe
kind
it
of
was
like
on purpose.
okay,
Yeah,
but
Fallout Shelter's good.
worth it.
It's just like
Fallout Shelter is very good for
it's
what it is.
Yeah, for how much it's sold and everything. How many people still play it? It's crazy.
Yeah. Looping this back to 76, though, one big question we need addressed is the leveling system.
That's true.
True.
We saw, you made a good point, Connor. I think you saw in the gameplay it went up to level like 56 or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
it looked about there. And then we saw a player that was 22.
Yeah.
And then players that were like 15.
And I know that Fallout 3, New Vegas, I think they capped off at like 30.
Yep, 30.
Something along that line after DLC and everything. So
well, it is multiplayer based.
4 lets you go hundreds of levels.
Yeah.
Because it was perks. So I'm going to assume, though they didn't show it, the perk system's back.
Yeah.
Which, once again, I was talking about how in Fallout 3 and New Vegas, your player felt unique. You know,
I like it so much better personally.
Yeah, the skills in Fallout 3 and New Vegas made your builds feel unique. And when you go into the perk system in Fallout 4, I don't think it's bad. It's just that, especially in a multiplayer game where you want your character to stand out, like, these are my accomplishments, this is how my character's built, and I'm an asset to your team in this dynamic open world because I built my character to be a good sniper, or I built my character to heal more than others, something along those lines. Mm-hmm. This is why you want me, that when you have the perk system and everyone can level the fuck up to their heart's content just by playing the game a lot, which, you know, rewards the player for playing, but I feel like that's a system that the end goal, everyone's players are the same, which is not a good feeling.
No, not at all.
Especially, and I don't want to get too far into the leveling system, but what's going to happen if you're a certain level and then you face off with people that are lower levels?
Yeah.
How are they going to be able to group people up with different things? Are they going to be able to do it by level? Are they going to be able to do it by experience?
True.
What are they going to do?
Is it going to be almost like One Tamriel and Elder Scrolls Online, where they just balance it out?
Yeah,
like
you're
fighting
three levels ahead or 1,000 levels.
Yeah.
I have 7,000 points ahead or something.
Just like, are they going to say, like, yeah, if you're level 4, you're shooting level 4 enemies, but if you're 26, you're shooting 26 enemies? But then does that get rid of one big feature in Bethesda Game Studios games? You explore in the wrong area, you end up in the wrong part of town. There's the rubber banding system, which is like, this is a level 50 area. You're going to get fucked if you come out here. You can, but you're...
Yeah, and if you get killed, you got to go back to, to level 4.
What happens if you die?
Yeah,
that's...
I wonder if your body gets looted or what happens.
Like, permadeath?
Do you still get your stuff? That's a good question.
I don't think they said it was.
I don't think so.
He kind of alluded to it though, didn't he? In the conference, he talked about how, like, when you die, you reload or something like that. Your body, like, it's not permanent or something along those lines. But what if it was?
That's interesting. What about the stuff that you have?
Well, wait, hold on. What did he? When he executed that one guy and blew off his arm?
Yeah.
Didn't he loot his body?
All I saw was the caps pop up.
Yeah, true.
I feel like he did loot him.
And then I did see also the revenge tag underneath it. That if that guy killed him beforehand, he came back. And
there was a revenge tag.
It said revenge.
No permadeath.
So no permadeath.
Then it gave you like 8 more caps.
But then maybe you lose your gear or something. They gotta add some weight to
karma.
Yeah, karma.
Kill him. If you kill players, you lose karma.
And that would actually be a cool way of, like, indicating if you get to know a player. Like, maybe you got a special skill that lets you. I don't know how to word it properly, but
see someone's alignment.
Yeah, you see someone's alignment. It's like, can I trust them?
Could even go in more in depth by say you turned your back on this guy or you stabbed this guy in the back, and then when you got the revenge, what happens to you? You got more. You know what I mean? It could go to more of an evil aspect of your character. What are we gonna see?
That'd be a cool role playing aspect to add.
It would be pretty cool
to make the game feel like a role playing game in a multiplayer environment.
True. See, the kind of consensus of this conversation is we have questions, and I think we're ready to be excited. And I'm definitely interested. I definitely want to play it. I like what I saw. It looks fun as fuck. It's just a matter of it can get to this whole new level if these questions are answered. And obviously, if they're the answers, we kind of want to hear, like, there's dialogue, which is something that's crazy that we're even talking about. But
it is.
Yeah, there's a story.
Game.
Yes, that story has choice and consequence. Like, yes, there's NPCs to interact with, which I think Todd pretty much cleared up that's not going to happen. I think the interviews this E3 around are going to be very telling of
100%.
What this game really is. Because with each interview, what happens is they kind of recycle the same thing over and over, and then like that one detail pops up because he's tired of saying the same fucking thing over and over. And so like you combine all those, and you're like, okay, this is what.
You get the PR answers, and then you get the real answer.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm interested. I want to see more about the game. I feel the beta is going to give us the most answers that we need. We're going to hear a lot of PR. We're going to hear a lot of interviews talk. But I feel it's not until the beta, which I imagine is sometime this summer.
I think it's going to be by the end of the summer.
It's got to be.
Probably
For
within
a November
next-
release?
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Probably sometime in August, just right in between. Maybe earlier than that because they want to get testing. I mean, the game looked pretty complete.
It looked polished.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing I'll say. You know, another positive. It's just like the gameplay looked real smooth.
Yeah.
You know, looks good.
It's what we expect from a Fallout game.
Yeah, it is.
Let's hit on one last mechanic, the CAMP, Camp Settlement Building. It's back, and you can build anywhere in the world now. So you can find, we'll go back to the example of the West Virginia Capitol Building. You find that, you can set up shop there and build to your heart's content a cool military base around that. Once again, enticing that you can build anywhere, and that, like we saw where the monster came in and destroyed it, someone can come in and wreck your shit, whether it's another player or a mutant. But how do we feel that with these mechanics, really all of them, they said they're there, but they didn't go into like, here's how settlements change, other than we can build anywhere, which I'm pretty sure there's a mod for build anywhere in Fallout, and you know, it's like they just kind of left the mechanics at face value. But overall, how do you guys feel about the return of a settlement mode?
I feel like they focused on the settlement modes way too much in Fallout 4, so I'm just really afraid of them making that same mistake. You know, not focusing on the story elements that we want, but just focusing on giving us more shit to put in our settlement.
Yeah.
Like, none of us really care that much about it. It's a cool feature, and I think it'll be even better now that we can like mess around with our groups in it. But like, does it really need to be a big feature of the game? I don't think so.
Also, when we came out of the vault in the beginning, am I going to be able to build inside a vault? Am I going to be able to make my own vault?
Good idea.
Am I going to be able to
'Cause in
do what I
Vault-Tec
get?
Workshop,
Yeah,
you could-
Vault-Tec. Yeah, I was just going to say that. You know, you can create your own vault. Am I going to be able to do that right off the bat? What's going to happen? Am I going to be able to even enter a vault again? Like, how do you? I don't even know how it's going to end
good
up.
point.
But you know,
And
we'll definitely get our.
We never
answers.
talked about the Vault experiences in general in Fallout 76. We never got around the idea that right when you're leaving the vault, yeah, it's completely empty. There's not like that Fallout 3, Fallout 1, 2 kind of special interaction within the vault, or some story that's set within the vault. It's just you're walking out of an empty vault and you set your character from there, and apparently you go out into the open world. And it also makes you wonder how other vaults in the game will be. You know, and I'm just a little bit concerned as well that it didn't seem that to go for that, like, I always think of Fallout 3, like you could tell they were trying to do, this is something special.
It's so great.
Yeah, it really is.
You could play that opening together like 10 times.
Yeah,
You know,
I
get
agree.
a different experience every time.
Because I was getting gameplay for E3 this week in case I needed it, and I was replaying Fallout 3, and right away, like the intro, I'm just like, this is so good, man. You know, the way they time lapse and hit like just little moments like the birthday party. Is it anything?
So
No, but it's
Yeah.
so fucking good. It's like, I don't expect them to do something like that, but even Fallout 4 in its own way, it's like you wake up from a crowd pod, everyone's dead, you're like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying it was perfect, but I think that there was that intrigue right off the bat, and then you get out of the world, and it's this polarizing feeling of, you know, this
There's-
life is supposed to be one way, then you leave, and it's completely different.
They're set up to the world you're entering, and that's what I'm worried about this game. It's like, what's going to be our setup into the world? Are they just going to throw us in? That's what I'm worried about. Because if the intro to the game is what we saw in the trailer, we just wake up and walk out of the vault, that would suck.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's a little, yeah.
Sure, but then you got from the original trailer, you got you pretty much them showing pictures of you making the vault your own.
Like,
True, and they even said, you know, you make this wasteland your own.
Yeah.
So maybe you can customize vaults. Maybe you can put your own stuff in it.
I'd imagine
Yeah.
if you can customize anywhere, the camp will let you sit down, even in a vault.
Yeah.
and
It's just
customize
like,
that.
even to me, like that, I don't really care that much about it. I want the vaults to have meaning. I want the vaults to have story. I
True.
think the vaults are some of the most interesting areas in the previous Fallout
Absolutely.
games.
Absolutely.
So-
They're twisted.
Exactly. 100%.
I also wonder, okay, here's a really strange thought. How does it work where you can nuke anywhere? So let's say I'm playing my game, I want to go to Vault 85, and I'm going there, someone nuked it. Can someone disrupt my entire experience by just nuking a place off the map, and I just wouldn't, I'd go there and go, what the fuck is this?
If a settlement gets blown up, like, are we going to be able to return there and still like make use of the quest lines? Like, and also with the servers, you know, like if one area is destroyed, is that really going to impact everybody in the server's, you know, experience?
Yeah.
True, is it
exactly.
going to stay that way if I join the server? You know, if I just boot up the game and get in there, am I going to have the Capitol building gone? Am I going to have, you know?
I think these are all important questions
Yeah.
that really need to be answered. And do you think Bethesda maybe shared that feeling, like we're not going to have enough time to answer all these questions? They're just going to have to see the game to get it. Because out of all games, you know, he's talking. Out of all games, Todd says Elder Scrolls Blades is the one that you need to like get your hands on to understand, but I feel like that's Fallout 76. Like I feel like that's the one I need to play to be like, okay, I get what this game is.
I get Blades. You know, we're walking around a dungeon, we got to use the thing with our fingers. Like we get it. Like I need to know more about this game.
Exactly.
There's so many questions.
Especially this is like their big focus for 2018. Like I feel this is the one that needs explanation.
When he was answering the questions in the beginning, you know, he made an effort. But to tell you the truth, we have a lot more. And you know, I think he knows that. He knows that he wants us to have those questions. He wants us to be, you know, asking what he needs.
And I think the unknown is a little exciting. I was saying this about Fallout 4 that in retrospect we knew a lot about it going into the reveal, and then you look at 76 and it's almost the opposite. We don't really know that much about the world and everything. Sure. Like a lot of Fallout 4 through trailer analysis and speculation. I won't spoil what, but I mean, I remember pretty much spoiling big twists for myself in Fallout 4 just because of my friends and we just dug so deep into everything about the game. There wasn't really that surprise factor. Not every fan does that. So I don't think that that's exactly something Bethesda was trying to avoid, but I think maybe they're keeping the cards close to their chest for two reasons. One, to surprise players, but two, we talked about this a little bit earlier, they could be trying to hide things, which is never...
Obviously, we're not hoping for that.
Yeah.
I think the difference between this game and Fallout 4 is like we know what we're getting into with Fallout 4. We know it's a single player experience. This game is multiplayer with the servers and how we're interacting with people, the lack of NPCs. It's like, what is this world, right?
Yeah.
I think that's our main concern.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to be touching down on the show floor soon, so hopefully we'll have our answers by then.
Our hands on it.
Yeah. Maybe talk to some developers there or some staff from Bethesda. We'll try to get the answers for you guys, but we just wanted to discuss everything we saw at the Fallout 76 reveal. And we hope to hear from you guys in the comments. This has been a long discussion, so we hope you enjoyed. And it's time to close it out. So, fellas, thank you so much for joining me on this video.
Anytime.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.